his hands.
Yeah, Kiana and Talon actually still undefeated after one day of play. They had 5 games total between the two, 3 for Kiana, 2 for Talon, and they haven't lost yet. So it seems like a pretty good ban to take if you know your enemy plays it. Aurelia going to join the pool as well, which makes a lot of sense against Fudge. And then Lucian, Aphelios, so Doggo eating 2 bans, and then Rai is going to get taken off the board as well.
Yeah, it's a pretty reactive draft so far out of Beyond, just seeing what worked for Cloud9 yesterday and trying to get rid of some of that. First pick, MF, interesting to see. She's usually been taken red side, it feels like, in that second position, but the priority may be going up over the course of the tournament. We'll have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, I think, you know, maybe not something as obvious like LeBlanc or Kiana with those kind of champions banned. That might not be a first pick you're as comfortable with, so MF is pretty reliable in just about any lane you can put her together with. It does feel like people have been playing Ezreal into her. I think that's more of a like, I don't want to die, and I can be safe, than like, this is good in the 2v2, because I think MF plus, just about any other support, dominates most 2v2s anyway.
Yeah, and there's a lot of aggressive champions in the meta currently, just a lot of assassins running around the Rift, and Ezreal, not just with the mobility, but the build paths that you can take with him make you pretty resilient against these kinds of all-in dive comps. Something that MF herself can struggle with, you know, not being able to go the Divine Sunder into armor items and not having any mobility. She can struggle with that, but you get a lot in the early game off of her pushing power. Yeah,
it makes sense why Leona is such a common counter pick, and that is going to be Vulcan's pick here in the 2v2. Graves also selected. I'm guessing that's a jungler, but we have seen Graves top lane already, actually. I think that's the only Graves you've seen, so potentially some movement for that champion as well. But with Ornn being lined up here for the third pick, or Amumu to go along with the MF, we'll see what happens. Looks like it is going to be Amumu locked in for Beyond.
Yeah, the Graves is the interesting thing for me. You know, it's something that has some flexibility, like you said. It has been playing in the top lane, but you definitely don't want to just blind to Graves out of nowhere. And so most likely it's like, okay, this will go in the jungle, but maybe if we see a good opportunity for it to flex topside. Still a little surprising because while it is strong, you know, it hasn't seen much priority so far through the tournament.
Yeah, curious to what Blab wants to play, but Lee Sin feels very reliable here, so it is going to be taken. Of note, you can also still flex this champion, but I think it has become basically circled all the way back around to just being a jungler again. Lee Sin lane got pretty heavily hit over the course of the year where that champion was around, so I imagine that's going to be Blabber's pick, especially given his comfort on it. Again, we emphasize consistency in these kind of formats. Definitely a champion Blabber is very consistent on.
Yeah, so I was looking up Husha real quick to make sure. I didn't think he had played Graves. I saw during summer, and again, not the case. Now, it wasn't very strong in the meta, but it does not jump off the pages like this is the champion that he played all the time, and you're going right towards it, quite like, you know, we're talking about with Lee Sin potentially for Blabber. So want to see where that ends up going. Then you were kind of hitting on the bot lane. The Amumu, I have a lot of things to say about that. I'll save some of them in game, see if they pop up, but I'm very excited about Amumu. I love that dude. I'm so happy he's back in the meta.
Big fan. Again, as someone that's been following League for, you know, 10+ years, it's warms my heart to see Amumu back in the game.
Anytime any of like the original 20 champions show back, dude, I bought a physical copy of League of Legends. All right, when that game dropped, and you got like the 20 champions for free. You got this like weird map of Summoner's Rift that doesn't, you know, exist anymore. No, so yeah, whenever I see those original 20 champions show up, Alistar, Corki, all those ones, I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Bad news for Amumu fans though. Amumu is currently 0-3. Not doing particularly well as far as champion search, but I think is a champion we will see a lot of.
Yeah.
I think especially in play, it's very clearly a champion that people have been practicing and playing with. Whether he persists throughout the entire World Championships is a different question, but certainly on day 2 of play-ins, Amumu is still showing up.
I think he's also a champion that has really high playmaking potential, shocker, but in closer games, I think that will be a little bit more relevant. So a lot of these games feel like they're decided pretty quickly. One team kind of runs away with the game, and then it's like, okay, well, Amumu goes in, and then what does he do? But if you're in a mid to late game team fight situation, he has incredible potential in the support position to turn that game in your favor. And so throughout the tournament, like you're saying, when the games start getting closer and closer, and then the top teams start matching up against each other, I think you will see how important Amumu can be, even if he's struggling right now.
Ooh, Lane Graves might be on the menu.
I guess so.
I like Sylas here, by the way, especially given that we were just talking about Amumu and the power he brings. Sylas stealing that ulti is pretty nice. But Lilia is going to be selected here. A jungler that did get buffed a couple of patches ago, but hasn't shown up as much. We did already see it today, actually. Thanks, Babip, for bringing that one back out. Definitely a champion he's comfortable on. But Lilia for Husha, I have to imagine, and I'm very curious what this last pick is. I wouldn't guess Aatrox, but you know, at this point, I'm ready to be surprised. Let's see what Beyond Gaming have Ooh!
Okay, I'm gonna get some assassin versus assassin in the mid lane. You know, I'm assuming that's gonna go match the Sylas there. Should be a pretty strong matchup. And that does, like you said, lock the Graves into the top side of the map. Surprised to see it blind. I mean, maybe this is a bit of a call out on Fudge's champion pool, but for people who have been following in North America, Fudge actually has a really good champion pool. He can play the carries, he can go toe-to-toe, he can be the high resource guy like we saw yesterday where everyone's kind of playing around him and his wave states, or he can do this. We'll see if he ends up, you know, going with it, but the Malphite pick, he busted it out even at the MSI stage and was able to pick up a win with it. So yeah, gonna be the Malphite. He says, all right, you want to take the Graves, you can push me in and have fun with that, but eventually, you know, there's probably gonna be some plays going up the top side around level 6.
Yeah, this feels like very solid drafting from Cloud9, right? Like navigating all these very powerful ultimates one by one. This would be a sick flex, by the way, if they do want to play Lily in the top lane, but we'll see what happens as the things will count down, because yeah, all of a sudden,
so
counter-picking these lane Graves doesn't look nearly as good up against this Lilia.
Yeah, I mean, if they end up locking this in, sick, I want to see it, because that sounds really hype, but it is curious about doing that because those buffs that you're talking about with Lilia, they knocked the hell out of her base regeneration into her kit, and they put more of it into the healing that comes from your Q-Tick being on things, and that's only for monsters, I believe. And so you do end up a little bit more prone to getting poked out of lane with lane Lilia than you used to in the past, where her base regen was actually relatively high. It got hit pretty hard. Yeah,
the intention was to shift her power back into the jungle, right, where she was intended to be. So definitely a curious flex, but I believe that's what Beyond Gaming have gone for. Indeed, Liang is going to be locking that one in.
Let's go!
Very creative to get yourself around this potential counterpick, right? Because they knew they were counterpicking the Fudge. Cloud9 obviously emphasizing again something like more weak side, something safer, something like Malphite. I think like a lot of this plan is like, don't let MF ever get a good ulti ever, and then don't walk into any combination of Yone, Amumu, MF, Lilia ultis, which it seems like quite a bit harder than it sounds.
Yeah, that's, you know, just don't lose kind of like Korean advice kind of thing. But no, this is sick. I really want to see what they end up doing with it. It is a nice adaptation for someone who, you know, was clearly trying to stack armor in the top lane. Makes that very difficult to do now. And we see a bit of a level 1 bunch up here. Might hold off on some of those points to see if there's any damage done.
Blabber is, you know, trying to bait Husha in here. I don't think he's going to take it, but I do like this from Cloud9. Don't see this all that often, but especially given, like, depending on what your preparation is for your opponent, right? If you know they like to invade or get vision or even late invade, right? You can stack in those bushes and try and get a pick. Unfortunately for them, Blabber does not look juicy enough for Husha to walk in and try and get some auto attacks off. Does respect, you know, the fog of war, which is good to see.
But yeah, not an insane level 1 for Beyond there. I think it would have been pretty risky. Not many people want to base check a brush on their team. It's maybe a Mumu's your most likely, and you start with Bandage Toss, so it could work, but then you're in the middle of 5 people. And so, you know, they're just going there. Moan going and dropping a ward.
Doing what they can. And of course, don't forget down the bottom of your screen, our feature matchup presented by Mercedes is, and don't adjust your sets. Yes, we understand these players aren't in the same lane, but it is Stronger versus Fudge, which I think if you're looking at, you know, keys to success for these teams, that is definitely the place that you look to for these two.
I mean, you've heard it all weekend so far by the analyst desk about how important Doggo is to Beyond Gaming. You know, he is kind of the big key player for them. This is Doggo's team, as you often hear it talked about, and so they want to get him going a little bit more. Yesterday it ended up being a lot about the top side, which is not really where Beyond wanted to play through, I think. You know, they did have the Jarvan for maybe some counter picks or counter games that would have gone up there, but the snowball started way before Jarvan hit 6. So here, you know, they have the Lily again. It will kind of make it about the top side, but MF and Amumu have so much all-in potential. I expect them to try and make some more plays here for Doggo.
Yeah, definitely curious to see how the 2v2 shakes out. Should feel a little comfy here, even against, you know, his beloved Ezreal. Zvent, obviously a very good pilot for that champion as well, but we'll have to likely respect a lot of the pressure, as Moan here in the mid lane up against Perks, as you mentioned, also should feel pretty comfy in this matchup. Sylas' shield only goes so far and only against mages, so Yone is going to feel pretty good here.
Yeah, it should be a pretty free lane phase. I feel like the Sylas was maybe a bit of a call-out, thinking that, you know, Perks can kind of just take this champion. It's very strong right now in the current meta, but usually you do kind of see it more as a response to a counter pick. You see something with like a TF, which is what you most often pick it into, not a strong laning phase, and then you kind of get the free 6 by him and just grab that ults from all around the map. A lot harder to do versus Yone.
Well, savage Q there from Liang here, Fudge. Feeling the pain here in topside, does ding 3, eats the swell seed though, and only has 1 charge left on the corrupting potion, so Not a lot left in the tank to try and play with as Perks is trying to trade back here up against Yone, but again, he's out of mana. Yone doesn't use mana, and Perks only has one potion charge left. So this, even that Biscuit is going to have to work pretty hard to keep Perks up in his 1v1 early on.
Yeah, some mana issues that you're going to see them come into here a little bit. Expect a lot of early TPs by C9. Blabber going to be happy to be able to grab this Scuttle Crab, though. Playing a little bit more towards the bot side, and some Vulcan being able to help protect and grab that one.
Kusha on the other side, of course. Graves, as you said, has not been particularly common in the metagame throughout this year, at least in our observations in North America. But it hasn't changed much. You don't have to worry. I still wants to farm up a Storm. Yeah,
and I actually think it's a great time to have Graves in this draft, at least in terms of from the Graves perspective. We'll have to see how all these champions synergize together. We talked about the big Wombo potential, but you know, at the very least, you have two pushing solo lanes. That's going to make it very easy to find priority, find invade, steal camps away from the Lee Sin. You see, that's exactly what Hush is doing, wanting to use this advantage, make it uncomfortable. We'll see if C9 can collapse onto this, but this is the game plan for Beyond.
Blabber smoked that Krogdo Fudge now here. They're going to collapse. Hush in trouble. Blabber already dealing a lot of damage. Leah going in there trying to spin the branch around, but it's Blabber that finds first blood.
No.
And Leo's on the menu for second, and it's a tragedy. Mark C as Fudge takes the second kill.
Cloud9 collapse instantly onto that Krug invade by Husha. Blabber does not land the initial Q, but falls up very quickly. Fudge gets the inside track on that collapse, and that's the big reason why. Action's not over, though. Vulcan roam.
Vulcan at it again on the Leona. Mid lane here is going to force a flash of Perks. Feels real good about that roam.
Oh, God, I was just talking about the game plan for Beyond, the priority lanes that they're going to have, making it easy for the Graves to invade. And right away, Cloud9 probably identifies that, and they are on the same page about how to, you know, kind of throw a wrench in that game plan. Get Vulcan out of the bot lane. It's Ezreal. He's going to be fine on an island. Go burn and flash mid. Top side, instantly collapse. It doesn't matter what's happening in lane. Fudge, get over here and protect my camp was punish Husha. And the fact that they chunk him down to about 25% HP before Liang is able to get involved in this play, you can see how this 2v2 easily could have been won by Beyond Gaming if he was able to get there a little bit faster. But it was just a really deep invade by the Graves, and Blabber and Fudge are on the same page, and that's what makes them such a fearsome 2v2 on the top side, is that they are really aggressive, and when they say, hey, we can kill this Graves, they go for it.
Yeah, nice to the opposite side, right? Usually Fudge is the one pushing in, and then Blabber's diving. This time it's defending the jungle invade, but the result is the same for Cloud9. Up 600 gold now, they got the first 2 kills. Fudge's CS not feeling too hot, so this Lilia counter pick definitely working out early on despite the death, but obviously the gold deficit's going to be massively shortened by that kill and assist gold that Fudge has picked up. So things feeling pretty good, but Beyond Gaming not done. Now it's a 3v3 brewing here in the mid lane as Kino has roamed up here on the Amumu. Vulcan level 4, also at the ready. Perks going in for it. But again, staying respectful. Now can see one, steals the ulti, gets it going, and Vulcan takes down Moan, and now going back in as Blabber is going to find the Nexus. Kino's trying to get the kill. Doggo flashes in, gets the auto attack, and takes down Perks. And now Cloud9 in a 2v3 they don't really fancy. Blabber going to have to dash on out of there with the safeguard.
Okay, so bit of a, you know, 1-for-1 there in the mid lane. A nice collapse by Doggo, showing one of the advantages of the Misfortune with that pushing potential. It's also her passive in the strut, allowing her to follow up on these plays, match the Amumu roam. Very funny. Amumu's like, hey guys, I'm here to help. And Perks is like, no, you're here to give me an ultimate. Yeah. This is exactly what I need to get this kill. Able to find that one initially, but then with the additional support of Doggo, turns it back around. So a 1-for-1, I think pretty happy for both teams getting some of that gold onto Doggo. But Perks also making a nice play here.
Yeah, stealing a move is pretty satisfying, especially when the Amumu is level 3.
As soon as he shows his face, I feel like you can hear like Perks just salivate. Like he just instantly yoinks that ultimate. He's like, all right, let's go. Kino here, really nice job setting that up for Doggo, kind of finding the healthiest or the lowest health target, excuse me, and making sure that they actually do secure a kill there. Not overly focused on peeling back and trying to protect the Graves, just knowing that he'll be fine.
Oh, Kino, ooh, whoa, missing the Q, but there's the kick. Blabber already with the ulti. Kino level 4 flashes, gets over the wall with the blast gun. Amumu's safe for now, but under attack here at level 4 on the support.
Yeah, I mean, Cloud9 are looking for their fights where they can grab them, trying to get that red buff invade off. Overall, a nice play there, even though they don't get the red buff, to force the flash out of Kino. Really heads up play by him to have the awareness that, hey, there's blast gun here, flash auto that, get out of there, but does limit some of that playmaking that I was saying they probably want at level 6 around the bot side here, and trying to find some kills for Doggo.
Yeah, like a lot of, you know, kind of classic League of Legends champions, you're often only as good as your ultimate. And a movement obviously only being level 4. Severely drained of XP from the support position. Going to be a while before Kino has that going. That being said, there are plenty of ways for Beyond Gaming to enable this comp. As you mentioned, they kind of have, you know, a combo for every single champion on the team. They even have like a backup MF ult with Grave Salt in case you know Doggo's not around. But if they can find the setup, it is not difficult for Beyond Gaming to, you know, scale any sort of skirmish into a full-on 5v5 teamfight if they land the right engage.
Right, I mean, even Moen can start these fights out with the Yone ultimate just going flying in there, and you throw the damage over the top, and like, hey, hopefully someone dies instantly, and then you're fighting a 4v5 from there. And their team is pretty scrappy. A lot of these champions do really well, kiting out not just the Yone, but Graves and Lilia have tremendous kiting potential. And so while the initial fight was going to start with a big burst of damage trying to instantly annihilate someone, they do have the ability to kite some situations out. So Cloud9 are going to have to be careful about re-engaging and not, you know, face planning.
All right, well, looks like some attention to the Rift Herald was given, but neither team is moving in just yet. Looks like Beyond Gaming actually going to clear out the rest of that vision. There is a ward in the back of the pit, so Cloud9 do know what's happening. Vulcan going to confirm that by tapping the plant there and getting the Scryer's Bloom Vision, but don't think there's anything Cloud9 can do. Ezreal's too late to this play. This ultimate's going to try and steal it. Not going to happen, though, and that will be Husha picking up that Herald. Now Vulcan looking for the angle. Perks here as well. See the play lands on a Husha, but the ulti's really nice. Fudge follows up, but the damage is massive. Yone back in as Blabber does actually get the kill, but Yone going to snap back as Leon takes down Fudge. Now Blabber's completely trapped, and will get picked up there as Beyond Gaming trade 2 for 1.
Yeah, nice job there. Beyond Gaming punishing Cloud9. That's kind of what I was talking about. Cloud9 has a lot of engage themselves, able to blow somebody up right away, but then there's a lot of kiting potential beyond. They kind of punish that. And like you called out, Ezreal was really far away. He was shooting that ultimate from just outside his base. And I thought, I was like, okay, they're just trying to do that, trying to go for this 1 in a million steal. But they committed to actually collapsing on that play, and they basically fought a 4v5 without Sven there. And Beyond Gaming did a really good job grabbing that Rift Herald and actually coming ahead in kills.
All right, well, Fudge gonna commit the ulti, at least gets a kill traded back as we'll watch this play again here. Again, that ulti not good enough for the steal, but Cloud9, as you said, still commit to this one.
Yeah, they want to punish Husha, who has to walk forward to grab the Rift Herald there, and they think they can 100-0 him, and it's like, great, yes, you actually can. But from here, you committed all your resources on killing the Grave. The Yone is running around pretty much untouched throughout the portion of that fight. Same with Leon and Doggo as well. The main key carries, because there's so many threats on this team comp, are actually not comboed at all with that initial engage by Cloud9. And the entire time would be nice if you had Sven doinking people over the top with Ezreal, but he just wasn't there.
Yeah, instead it's, you know, 2 melee champions that have to commit into the backline, and of course that leads to Cloud9 having an uneven trade. Still up 400 gold, but Beyond Gaming keeping this game very close, and I think given how the setup went, and definitely given how poorly that initial topside invade went for them, losing 2 kills there kind of feels like doom for a Graves that is aggressively invading, but Beyond Gaming have done a great job of kind of riding the ship. It's actually Doggo already up with a Kraken Slayer. That's going to be the build of choice here for this one, so tons of auto attack DPS from this Misfortune. And again, if Doggo has free time with his team locking people up and he can shoot them, MF does plenty of damage.
It's definitely a game where, you know, I feel like the MF builds, I like seeing the variety that they have had so far. In this game, you know, there's multiple frontline tanks that you're going to be hitting. The Leona, the Malphite are all people you want to actually have a little bit higher DPS for, not just rely on a burst of damage or something if you're going the more lethality-oriented build. So I do like seeing the Kraken Slayer here. There's enough threats on the rest of the team, like I said, that like, hey, maybe, you know, C9 blows all their damage because they have to stop the Yone. And then you're allowed to free fire with the Kraken Slayer on these people while they've dove into your team. So I do really like this build from him, and he has the cleanse to kind of protect himself a little bit from the initial engage as well.
And of course, Ghostblade done for Husha as well. I guess this is one of the Ghostblade junglers we didn't consider, but definitely fits the bill. Graves more than happy to have some lethality. Goldrinker though done for Blabber. And I'm very curious what Fudge is going for here. That's a lost chapter hanging out, but might just be an item to breed you in the laning phase.
Yeah, it might just be for poke. We'll see if he actually wants to build a mythic item off the bat like that. We'll see. I suspect that you're right, though, that this is just for some Q poke, because that's the main way that you're going to be dealing with the Lilia lane phase.
All right, well, so far so good for Beyond Gaming, despite, again, being down a couple hundred gold. Grabbing that first dragon for themselves. Still have that Herald. Husha actually ready to drop it at a moment's notice. Then, pretty obvious target, even though his tower's pretty healthy. He is completely isolated as Vulcan has been out of the lane for a pretty significant portion of this game. But as you said before, it is Ezreal. He's pretty safe, and Cloud9 have done a pretty good job of, you know, making Sven aware that, hey, no one's here, don't die.
Yeah, and I think it's been a weird game coming into it with the flex of the Lilians to the top side. You know, Cloud9 have kind of ended up with 3 lower priority lanes, and to have a gold lead through 15 feels good for them. But the scaling is also one of these ones where, like, it's kind of whoever plays cleaner wins the team fight. A lot of squishy targets, a lot of engage, a lot of burst potential. You know, And there is some 1-3-1 aspects for multiple team comps here. If Yone gets really fed, you can kind of split them off. Same with the Silas. So I think the team comps actually match up in terms of what they want to do in the game plan fairly evenly. And a lot of this will actually just come down to like, okay, who actually started the fight better? Who flashed that key skill shot?
All right, well, we have gotten an answer to a question of what is Fudge building, and it is Everfrost.
Aha.
So now the question is, what's the next item? Because this one actually makes sense. Like, there are some AP ratios on Malphite. Additional CC and slows does match up with what you want to do, but how deep are we going?
I mean, maybe he is going full AP Malphite. You know, I don't want to count it out quite yet. There are other frontline members on his team. I think sometimes if you're the only one and you're doing the AP build, I'm going to be like, you're trolling, sir. You should not be doing that. Your team needs engage. But with Leona and Lee Sin, you know, Gore Drinker, pretty solid frontline overall. Maybe you do want to commit harder into the insta-blow somebody up game plan, which this will be better at, as well as providing a little bit of extra CC. It shouldn't be, you know, understated how much that can help.
Whoa, Vulcan actually finding one! Not quite a one-shot just yet. Graves pretty tanky, but not nearly tanky enough as Fudge that picks up the kill.
Oh, Husha, what item were you looking at? What looks so good that you had to just let Vulcan basically walk into range for the Q to start that out, and gave up a free kill there. Unfortunate. Bit of a punish there. Having a slightly rough game for Husha so far. Let's see Sven doing the same thing. Finish with a face check. Nice shift out.
Yeah, different champions. Definitely not created equal. Graves and Ezreal.
Also had his window in front of his face. I was actually watching the game.
Not in the shop, hanging out. Already has the Trinity Force, so doesn't need to look at the shop. Good to go here. Definitely picking up the DPS slack. Not going to be Sunder this time, which makes sense again. Cloud9 do need a consistent damage source. Sven is easily going to be that source in this game, and double Everfrost here for Cloud9. So I think, you know, from the perspective of, hey, we have to like kill a single key member, this actually does line up well, right? Between Lilia and MF and Yone, those are all champions you can reasonably pick up in a short period of time, and all champions that Beyond Gaming kind of need to get something going.
I mean, even Graves, if he does not have tons of stacks of true grid up, you can blow him up really easily. So I think there's a plethora of targets for them to go for. So I totally understand that. As we see, an attempt there. I like this. Both teams already swapping to the 80 carries mid. Even though the turrets haven't dropped, usually you kind of wait to see the map open up a little bit more. I think from a power level of the champions, you know, Level 11 on Yone is a great time to start splitting away, and so, you know, they put him down there, allow him to get that turret gold.
Oh, goodness, that's a very long range start there for Keto. Bandage shot does find him up, but Sven forced to cleanse out and shift away. Does get ignited, but he's okay. A little worse for wear, but Beyond Gaming still on the assault here, looking for maybe Rip Turret number 2. Of note, they did get the bottom tower as well. They actually got the first turret gold, so picked up a slight gold lead for themselves, basically just taking away the little lead that Cloud9 had for themselves. But Cloud9 once again find themselves around a Herald, and unfortunately this time, not even gonna poke the Ezreal ult in there.
Yeah, not trying to contest it this time after Sven got chunked out so hard, so I like this decision. And it also was better this time because they didn't, you know, have someone collapsing. You know, they just kept perks on the bot side the entire time, so he was able to grab some XP for himself, deny some of this minion wave, get a big chunk of turret damage down here, and make use of the fact that they didn't really have the opportunity to contest anyways. It would have been way worse if he showed up and just kind of hung out mid before going back bot lane.
Yeah, instead just gonna go back, reset, and then go back to mid, as you said, continue to try and siege that up. Fudge is level 11. This is, it's definitely a game where keeping track of, you know, ultimate ranks is pretty important. They're all, again, very high impact ultimates across both these teams, as Blabber is currently shadowing Fudge, making sure no one else is here, but there is no one else, so Fudge going to be a-okay to push out this wave, and looks like they'll go back and line up their next play. There is a dragon up in 15 seconds. Beyond already grabbed the first, so if Cloud9 want to equalize, they can, but no need to rush if you don't want to, but it does seem like there's not much else to do, so might as well.
Yeah, I'll have to see what Ezreal's items are. I think he just bought something, so if he completed his Muramana, maybe you want to fight this. No, he's not quite there yet, so I don't know if Cloud9 want to fight this dragon. It's not the do or die kind of situation quite yet. Beyond Gaming do feel very powerful, and you see them working quite well around the Amumu timer, so they're probably going to hang out here for another minute, wait for it to show up before really contesting this dragon. Liang has TPs, has pressure up on the top side, so a tough situation for Cloud9 right now. Good job by Beyond putting pressure on multiple points of the map.
Yeah, Lilia actually pretty good in her 1v1, as long as you have enough vision to protect her. She's very vulnerable if you gank her, but, you know, 1v1, Fudge can't really do anything but sit under the tower and hope for the best. Cloud9, though, have started the dragon, but as Rift Herald dropped mid, that's going to be the trade. That charge does happen. Sven is trying to defend. We'll keep the Herald off the tower so it doesn't go down just yet, but Beyond Gaming can recommit to try and take this tower down if they want to, but Cloud9 at least equalizing the Dragons for a nice little exchange there in mid.
Yeah, bit of an interesting situation. I'll hold my thought as we see it again.
Oh, that chain CC is so good, but Husha still takes out Sven. The CC on the other side is better, but Fudge gets the Everfrost, just barely missed the Yone who ulties out, but Doggo is going to be the target. Perks is going to shut that down, as this SARS has been on point all tournament long. Make it a second there as Lilia's going to die to Perks. He nabs the double, and Cloud9 collapse to punish BYG in mid.
Okay, so Cloud9, they're able to get the Dragon off the focus of the Rift Herald in the mid lane by Beyond Gaming, and then Beyond want to get something out of it. You know, they actually want to finish that turret off. They clump up. That's the perfect time for the Malphite flank to come through. Not the cleanest fight, as I'm sure you'll see in the replay, but still able to come out 2 for 1 for Cloud9 to get a little bit of pressure after.
Alrighty, well, back to pushing as we watch this replay. It's the X-Fac one, actually.
Yeah, so this was nice by Beyond that they started the fight. The TPs hadn't had time to come through yet. Misflash there by Doggo, like I said. Good job by Moen getting out for that. Here, Perks missed both his Gap Closer and his Everfrost, and so there were a couple of abilities that missed that probably could have gone a lot better for Cloud9, and they got a bit of a freebie by Doggo flashing on top. I feel like if he flashed down with Moen away from Perks and not on top of the Malphite ultimate as well, maybe he can kite that fight out a little bit more after the initial kill. So a bit lucky there for Cloud9 that it went as well as it did, because Beyond's initial pickoff onto Sven was quite well executed.
Yeah, it's funny, you know, on average, they probably got the amount of kills they should have, but you can see either team got more or less.
They had some nervous hands there, so you know, both teams kind of making sure it ends up the same. One thing I do want to point out about Amumu, though, that I think is really important. People talk about the double bandage toss giving you more CC, and that's, you know, apparent. Yep. But I think the thing that is also really important for all-ins and just being a threat is the amount of damage that comes through if you land both halves of it, as he's currently getting engaged on.
Oh, Perks looking for the Everfrost, but he finds the E on the other side instead as the ulti stolen. Does commit it for the kill, but Perks is on a killing spree now, happily taking his Vulcan. Looking to lock up Yone, but he goes back in. Vulcan gonna get crushed as Doggo picks up one.
Yeah, losing track of TPs a little bit there. They had the double TP by Cloud9 in the last fight, and here Moen was already mid lane in that situation, so he was able to hold on to his, and so they think that's an Amumu caught out of position too far in the river. That is the case, but Moen TP collapse does make it a 1-for-1. You trade supports out there. Still probably a little bit in Cloud9's favor to get that global off the map, so you can be a little more free with the rest of your playmaking.
Oh goodness, Malphite. Just so much CC. Doggo is no flash, no hope, just dead. Just straight dead, 1v1.
Yeah, we'll see if Fudge can get out of there, if he's going to get punished for that all in, but he does get the kill.
No ulti there for Yone, just nothing to do. Sven here as well to reinforce the mid lane, and Fudge gets away with it. In fact, now Liang's in trouble. Blabber looking to line up the kick, going to be put to sleep though as Blabber's going to back away.
Nice job for Cloud9, kind of picking Beyond apart throughout the map. You know, they get the initial kill into Kino, and then with Usha on the back end of that play, just looking to farm up his camps, you kind of just face checks Fudge there, who had priority in the bot lane because that TP came through. So the way that they are pulling Beyond across the map is something that's allowing them to find all these extra kills. You know, because Fudge got the push in the bot lane, could go into the jungle, he's then able to find the kill on the Graves and get out, and then while the rest of the team's trying to react to this Malphite, hey, Blabber's in your top jungle now, going behind and forcing the ultimate out of Liang and being able to grab top turret with Perks there.
And you know, now that kind of, you know, the first two items of Fudge are finished, I can kind of see what's going on. Like, initially I'm like, oh, Lilia seems really cool here, which was a good flex to counterpick the Malphite. Earlier it was maybe 20 CS up for Liang, now it's been even because Cloud9's got more map to farm with. But now I see 3 ADs and a Malphite. And I don't know what you're supposed to do, because Malphite's, if you have no flash, Malphite's gonna ult on top of you, Everfrost you, just punch you in the face. Even if he can't kill you, you're like shooting a frozen heart Malphite. Like, what are you supposed to do?
And that's why the Everfrost is nice, because when I watched that initial all-in on Husha and he got all the damage, I was like, okay, but now can you kill him? Well, with the extra AP ratios, the answer is yes. And he was able to finish off the Graves. And so, you know, it gives you that little bit of extra damage that you might need to get over the top with all these squishy members. You can kill them, they can't kill you, because you have this hybrid of damage and tankiness. And at some point, you know, these carries will be able to just like lifesteal through you potentially. He might need a second damage item, which he might be going for with that stopwatch you see. Might actually be picking up a Zhonya's as well. Kind of going a little bit of a hybrid out there because it still has armor on it.
Yeah, I kind of like that. Curious to see if it does turn into that, or if he's just happy with the investment right now. Obviously, we all know stopwatch is very good. Doggo, gonna have to cleanse it off. Blabber looking for the kill, finds the Q, threads the needle, and now the flash kick is gonna deliver him to Sven, who picks it up nicely. Blabber though pops a glow trigger. That's unfortunately not enough to save you. Item's not that good, but Vulcan also in trouble. Yone also over the top to finish things off as Beyond Gaming will punish Cloud9's greed little.
That was definitely greedy. Blabber saw the angle. Hold on, we're not done yet. Teleport's coming in from Malphite.
It's Fudge. He's got ulti. Who's getting ulted? Everybody. Sven already took down one. And again, the Everfrost Malphite happens, and you just cannot run away. Leon, though, has found a target. He does want a battle. Sven going to cleanse off the sleep. Fudge does shut down Husha on a killing spree now from this Malphite, and Perks is chasing Leon, but Lily is just so speedy. Not going to happen. But Cloud9, I think at the end of it all, a 3-for-2 trade.
Not bad overall for them. They did find 3 kills, like you said. They had a little bit of a split focus at the end there. You saw, Fudge tunneling, wanting to finish off Leon. Then you had Perks focusing, I believe it was Kino down, and then Leon was just in the middle. Oh god, that was scary. Overall though, they did get the mid turret off that, which is another part of that play for why it was kind of worth it for Blabber to go that hard. It bought space for Sven to just kind of finish off that turret and continue this snowball of the map control that they've kind of been able to grab. Now all the outer turrets down on Beyond Gaming side.
Well, good news, Mark. You're getting your wish. It is, in fact, Azonia's third here for Fudge.
Yep.
That is the Arm Guard, so I like it. It's a really cool build, again, especially if MF is a champion that's going to pop up a lot. This feels miserable to play against. Malphite's already pretty bad for you to play against if it's his full tank, but this is enough threat to be more than just a nuisance, as Perk's going to have to get out of dodge. Does flash away, but good force there from BYG to at least get that summoner spell.
Yeah, somewhere in the tail end of that as well, Cloud9 picked up the Infernal Drake, so continuing dragons for themselves. Unfortunate, Perks lost his flash there. It looked like they were trying to set up a face check and just got a little greedy going for it. Flashed over the wall. And in response, Beyond Gaming grabbed their last outer turret on the map now, so it is a wide open Summoner's Rift for both teams to start making some plays.
Yeah, Goldo's starting to run away from Beyond a little bit. Cloud9 have built up, 2,500, 3,000 gold or so. Also, investing in other ways. Perks has Majai's with 7 stacks already building up, so clearly feels confident about the, the results of the upcoming fights. We'll see if Beyond Gaming can put those pages to rest. But for now, they are going to have to just kind of chill out. Play for that next objective. Cloud9 happy to wait for Drakes here, and also Baron definitely a threat for either of these teams. I think even this build of Malphite can pretty happily tank Baron for a decent amount of time, so
for sure.
Cloud9 happy to start it here.
With the gold lead, as well as a slightly easier to execute team comp in these kind of wide open map situations, you have multiple champions who are a little bit more comfortable face checking and getting vision down. It's harder for Beyond Gaming to do it, and you can see that lapse in vision has allowed C9 to start Baron.
Fudge at it again, but this is just zoning, maybe looking to finish off the Baron. In fact, Fudge completely just going to gatekeep Husha out of this pit. Gets the Everfrost down on Takino. Perks over the top. They've got the Baron, and now they're going back to it. Perks! No, Sven getting that kill as now Moen gets a very nice ulti through, but it's just no follow-up there. Fudge is going to get shut down by Leon. The Conqueror procs, the spin happens, and they will at least trade back 1-for-1, but Leon now has to turn for the hills. Kino's already dead. Husha fell as well, so not even a 1-for-1. Beyond Gaming losing 2, and Cloud9 still got the Baron.
Oh god, the Fudge factor. The BM emote spam just saying, walk through me. I dare you. Try and get to this Baron buff, and it kind of stalls out Beyond. And, on the back end of this, they're going to find a couple more kills for C9 probably here. Leon in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, Lilia ran all the way to the wrong side of the rift, and Blabber and Vulcan are going to have to go on a wild dude chase, but I think they'll lock it down. It might take a bit. Vulcan is getting a little spooky on the HP situation, but Blabber, very accurate today on the Qs, is going to finally shut down that Lilia.
Finally finished off the Lilia. I think they also grabbed the mid-inner turret during that little dance that we were watching.
We never get to see what happens to the objectives.
There's always some objective dropping. Who cares? Watch the kills. I'm with you, Observers. You're getting it right. Now we'll have to see Perks. Might be in a little bit of trouble. Does have his hop over the wall there, so he's fine. Anyways, this is the play I was talking about. Fudge just emote spamming, saying, walk through me. What are you going to do? My team's taking Baron. He just marks this enemy jungler, makes it impossible for Husha to contest. And because Beyond is so, well, we have to do something, they also stick around for the engage afterwards, and they find a really clean combo there. Doggo over the wall did have a nice ultimate to get some people low for Leon to finish him off, but, it does force Leon to commit, and then there's that crazy chase down sequence that happens, and while Blabber and Vulcan were working on that kill, the rest of Cloud9 was grabbing that inner turret.
Mark, I did say, sadly, Amumu is currently 0-3, and unfortunately for Beyond Gaming, looks to maybe be 0-4 by the end of this game, but I have seen a lot of great Amumu ultimates this game. The problem is it's all Cloud9. It's Perks stealing the Amumu ultimate every fight.
Who's the best Amumu in the game? The Sylas.
Definitely Sylas. Definitely the level 16, 11 stack Magic Sylas.
Well, maybe they're going to go finish him off for that.
All right, Perks going to lose some pages perhaps in a 1v3 that he cannot escape. Will get shut down, but Cloud9 are just rampaging through the rest of the base as a result. Perks, he'll take the trade.
If he doesn't say worth in all chat, I'm kind of disappointed in him.
Yeah. Me too. Can we get a preview replay for that?
Anyone's going to tweet that one out after the game to let me know. Feeling pretty good right now for Cloud9 and North American fans. Pretty good grip on this game, grabbing that bot lane turret, still having a bit of time left. A very strong Red Bull Baron power play, 2,500 gold and breaking over the base. With the next dragon coming up in 20 seconds, they should still have control over that. So feeling pretty good, and I do like Beyond Gaming's angle there, saying we're not going to fight you in the bot lane. Let's just go grab a kill. Let's get some stacks off him. Let's get some gold in our pocket to start contesting Cloud9 around some of these other objectives. We'll see if they actually go here on the third dragon or they wait till the fourth. You know, this is the option that Beyond's kind of looking at from here, because they still have tons of engage and opportunities to actually just insta-give an important member of Cloud9's team comp. Pretty much everyone but Malphite, maybe Blabber are options.
Cloud9 though taking over the red side jungle. Have all the space created around this dragon. Even going to steal the red buff and donate it over to Sven. And Cloud9 are going to have plenty of time to finish this off. Again, Fudge can play bodyguard if he needs to, but he doesn't need to. Even has the exhaust ready for the team fight. Has been swapping pretty aggressively with the spellbook here, which is always nice to see. And apparently it's really giving the emote key a workout today. Lots of thumbs up action out of Fudge. Clearly feeling pretty good on the level 16 mount.
It's a scaling button.
Yeah.
The better the game's going, the harder your emote game scales. You just
it's true.
You don't quite see as many people emoting early on. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you do, and then it usually gets horribly wrong.
You regret it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't all in on the scaling early, as Fudge with Spellbook throws the exhaust down onto the Amumu. He's having fun, all right?
Still thumbs up. Maybe you press, maybe his summoner spell key is near the emote key. Maybe he just misclicked, didn't expect someone to walk into range. Was warding and then do the exhaust out. Also maybe expiring.
Maybe, I mean, with the thumbs up emote immediately afterwards, I'm leaning towards intentional.
I certainly hope so, as Perks is even going to do a bit of counter jungling here alongside Blabber. Level 17 now for the Sylas, as Perks is just zipping over the walls into the waiting arms of Husha and friends. Level 12 of Mumu now, bandit shots one. Oh, flash ulti! Not enough, and now the ulti's his again as Perks has once again stolen Curse of the Sad Mummy, and Fudge is in there, Blabber's in there first though. He's going to pop the Zhonya's, Fudge looking for it, Sven going to get the pick off, that's a great Yoni ulti to try and get it back, and indeed they get the kill. As Fudge now low, but not dead just yet, but he flashes out of the way, as Cloud9 still looking to play here under the tower. Perks gone absolutely insane under the enemy tier 2, looks for the second, can't grab it. And now Vulcan going into stasis. I think Cloud9 maybe bit off a little too much on this play, and Beyond Gaming will make them pay for it.
Nice 3 for 2 there for Beyond Gaming. Kino looking for the opportunity on the top side. I actually like this timing a lot, as you know they are losing a little bit of their base, but I don't know. Nexus turret, you know, they're not going to get backdoor probably this game. As we see, you know, Cloud9 actually not backing off from that top lane situation. Still trying to finish off this turret, knowing the amount of pressure that's in the base. Thinking that they can grab a little bit more turret gold with the fact that Beyond had to recall and deal with that Nexus turret. But I did like that attempt. You know, there's a lot of time for your ults to come back up before the next dragon that you need to fight. Baron's in only 30 seconds, so maybe that's more of a concern. But this is an opportunity where, you know, Cloud9's grouped up in a lane. You try and force the fight. Doesn't actually go that well, but, you know, Cloud9 then need to punish to make something of it. And they see Kino low, so they want to go in for the Amumu to finish him off. But there's still a lot of ults up for the rest of the team, a lot of CC available. So they kind of start stun lock people underneath the turret. They have to, you know, get Fudge out of there. Blabber dying early. Perks goes in to start finishing off some low people, but again, starts getting CC'd up under the turret. Has to burn his stopwatch, gets finished off there. Vulcan then trapped under the turret as well. So, you know, they kept baiting Cloud9 to jump on top of them. Not happy. Doesn't look too thrilled about that one.
Yeah.
Did not want to lose those stacks, I bet. You know, nothing on that mage eyes now.
He's out, he's out. Lost the last page he had. I think he saw, like, you know, the 10 stacks coming back in. Fudge so. Oh my goodness, poor Kino. Just deleted his, Yone, sorry. He's going to go back in and find a few. Blabber low, but not dangerous yet. But Vulcan also bleeding as Fudge. Trying to play defense, but Beyond Gaming fighting back here. Cloud9 have to be a little more cautious in these stroke points.
Yeah, Doggo really punishing that engage. Doesn't actually get a kill, but drops multiple members super low. Forces the Guardian Angel off of Blabber there. So you know, able to kind of withstand that engage. They did blow up Kino, and C9 want to transfer it into a Baron. We'll see if Beyond can actually contest this one.
You can kind of see where Cloud9 are willing to throw caution to the wind, though, right? They've got pressure in the bottom side from the top play. They can play aggressively here, keep the minions pushing and take Baron. So it's not, you know, reckless engaging that Cloud9 are entertaining, but they are going in very frequently.
No, this is exactly what you want to see. I don't want to make this sound like a criticism of the Cloud9 game plan. You have so many engage tools, you have so many opportunities, you have the map state in your favor so that even if they engage like that doesn't go 100% your way, you still get the kill, you still have the map to pressure in the bot lane, you can grab the Baron on the back end of it. And so this is what you want to see. You don't want to see, oh, we only take 90% plays. Go for the 60-40 like that and actually make some plays happen and keep the you know, gas down.
Yeah, credit to both teams for staying proactive. Beyond Gaming, though, slipping further and further out of reach for this game. Cloud9 up with the sole point now. They're up 6k. They've got a second Baron on the table. And already the bottom side of the Rift was pretty battered by Cloud9's last siege. That inhibits back, though, thankfully for them. But Fudge is once again asking to ult your teammates. As Vulcan does find the engage, Everfrost follows. Kino loses the ulti again. Blabber maybe trying to bait out the ulti, but doesn't find it. Finds another Q, though. Kicks him to death. And Cloud9 now in a 5v4 as Blabber finishes that off.
Yeah, Kino was just stuck in the state of, well, I don't have a good target to go in on, but I don't want to blow my ult defensively because then I won't be able to contest the sole point. And he just holds it on until it's too late. Cloud9 focus him down, kill him as the primary engager for Beyond Gaming. Once you take him out, it's a lot harder for them to find an opportunity. And now this might be a free soul. We'll see if they want to contest 4v5 or if they're going to keep Moen on top side. Doesn't have TP, so it looks like they're just sacking it.
Yeah, gonna go ahead, have to give that Infernal Soul over again. Your move is on up for 10 seconds, not a lot you can really do. Perks actually, the best movement on the Rift so far is looking to line up another ulti once again. Fudge also could combine for a very classic Season 1 combo mark. Haven't seen it in a minute, but definitely plenty of wombo potential there as Cloud9 will finish off that inhibitor. They're going to retake mid here as well, crack that finally, and take down a second inhib here, and maybe just walk it in. Kino's back, but I'm not sure it matters. Yeah, he
ended up losing his ult right as he died, so he's still about like a 20-second timer or 15-second timer before he can go in here.
And again, still holding on to theirs. Fudge, level 18, Perks, level 18. Ready with some big ticket ultimates here. Only one extra Nexus turret to get through as well. Plenty of time left on this Baron, 45 seconds. Jeez, that is a long siege for Beyond to try and go in. And Blabber just finds the pick. It's Kino again. They're bullying the poor boy. And now Vulcan diving back in. Hushlo is going to make him pay for it as Perks dove in straight. As Sven is now dominating Perks. He is going to die. Husha actually grabbed himself the double as Cloud9 tried to end the game but couldn't quite find it. 3v3 though. But they've run out of ulti, so I think Cloud9 going to have to leave. Yeah, they do stay alive here, getting another even fight. A lot of these, you know, Beyond has done a great job of punishing the engages for Cloud9 once they go in and finding even kills. You know, not many of these fights have been clean aces. It's been very, very scrappy, and, you know, Beyond, despite the fact that they're able to largely come out even or slightly behind the fights, it's a lot of the map states that make it so difficult. You're going even in that fight underneath your own Nexus here. It's like, what do you do at the tail end of that? There's not much of an opportunity for you to get onto the map and start stealing camps away from Cloud9 or getting deep vision down, you know? Like, there's just not much that they're able to do on the tail end of that. So while it's nice that they're able to stay alive here, they're still really on the back foot. Cloud9, thank you, observers. TP ward available, double TP incoming. Call a shot. I'm very scared for Kino. Every time he's on the screen, I'm like, oh no, my poor boy.
I mean, they're picking on him. He's the squishiest member of the enemy team, despite being their primary engage. And, you know, if you can kill him before he gets a good ult off, that makes it really hard for them. And then it's a lot of pressure on Moen to find an opportunity, or Leon to find a 5-man sleep or something, you know? And it just puts a lot of pressure on. Now, a lot of the times they kill him, they leave one of their members underneath the, the turret for Beyond to focus that member down, Blabber there being the target. So it's still overall a win for Cloud9, but Beyond showing a lot of grit this game, I think.
Yeah.
And taking fights and trying to stay proactive. Yeah,
running out of towers to play under, unfortunately for them. Cloud9 doing pretty good demolition work here as Leon is going to run away to get TP'd on by Perks, but nothing comes of that particular play. But now Cloud9 are just happy to wait until the next Baron spawns. That'll be a minute 50. Sven forced to use the Mercurial, or I guess the QSS portion of that sword. It's very confusing. But does have to use it. Does have cleanse up still as well, so it should feel pretty safe. But again, C9 are just trying to get to that same map state, right? Where they can take Gris and it doesn't really matter. And if nothing happens, then they'll go ahead and take an objective. As Perks steals the Yone ultimate to get out of there. No, never mind. He's not going out. He only goes in. And now he's going to have to leave, but he goes back through the Infernal Soul, explodes the enemy Yone, and now Perkz looking to make the 1v2 into another 1v1 win, and Perkz will find the double in the 1v2 play, and Fudge is taking every tower shot in the lands as Sven demolishes Borhusha and BYG. They can only defend for so long, but the ace is there, and Cloud9 are going to pick up their second win at Worlds.
Cloud9 going 2-0 to start groups. Beyond Gaming dropping to 0-2, a tough start, but for Cloud9, you're feeling good. It's playoff Perkz, except it's Worlds Perkz. It's even better.
It's true. An even better time to look good as Cloud9 still remain undefeated. 2 games only through, but that is half of their round-robin games in this play. And again, it is a very short round-robin stage here this go-around. And even though this wasn't as dominant a game, I still felt like this is the consistency you're looking for.